Good evening. We're starting off with some breaking news tonight at 5 o'clock out of Oklahoma, where the National Weather Service has confirmed that a tornado has touched down.
It is still early, but at this point there are no reports of damage, but a tornado warning remains in effect right now.
Of course, it was just a little while ago that a tornado wreaked havoc on Moore, Oklahoma, near Oklahoma City. 24 people, including 9 children, were killed in that storm.
This, of course, is a story that we will continue to follow and bring you the very latest details as they come into the newsroom. It's a problem that a nonprofit in the Piedmont is having a hard time solving: bed bugs.
Crisis Ministry of Davidson County needs some help getting rid of the pests from their homeless shelter. Rob Wu has that story tonight from Lexington, all new at 5.
Guys, for 27 years, Crisis Ministry here at Davidson County has weathered all sorts of ups and downs, but this latest bed bug infestation is proving too much to handle. You see the caulk on the bed. That's just a Band-Aid solution, though. They need $66,000 to treat the problem, and if they don't get it, it could be lights out for the final time.
For 27 years, I have been Superwoman on some days, and I've met my match.
Her nemesis is small but pesky, little bugs causing a huge problem that won't go away. A few months ago, a client unknowingly brought it into the shelter. Now more than half of the beds are infected. Even the children at the Genesis home have been bitten. They've tried steaming and spraying, but to no avail. The only solution, new beds, which cost nearly $70,000. And if they don't find it soon, many will be in for a rude awakening.
And that would put 94 people on the street. I don't know. Every shelter is closed, full, so I don't really know where the people would go. They would be sleeping on the streets, in cars.
Whitehead has asked the city council and the county for money. If they don't come through, the doors could close at the end of June. I'm Rob Wu, WXII 12 News.
Davidson County Commissioners will take up that issue next week. Chairman Fred McClure tells us at this point they haven't talked about it, so at this point they have no idea what they're going to do.
Right now, a man is being held in the Rockingham County Jail on a $9 million bond. Matthew Steele is accused of firing shots at Mayodan police officers last night. It all began just before 11 near Mayodan Municipal Cemetery. Officers were first called to the area for a report of shots fired. Steele was eventually taken into custody. No one was hurt. A black bear cub continues to walk around the campus of North Carolina A&T. After laying low for nearly 24 hours, the bear was spotted again around noon. Bill O'Neill has more on the bear watch from Greensboro.
Wildlife experts tell us that the bear, likely not much more than a year old, simply got too far into the city in its search for a new home. They say the cub is not a threat to people, but add it is a frightened animal that should not be approached. If you're wondering why authorities don't simply tranquilize the bear with a dart gun, Rick Benton with the Greensboro Science Center explains why not.
They only do that really as a last resort because the animal can be injured in the darting process. It can scare the animal and it can run, it can get hit by a car. So the authorities would rather let the bear wander off in peace by itself. They only do that really as last resort.
Rick Benton says the prospects for this cub are not great. He says the biggest threat to this bear, traffic, as it tries to make its way back out of the city. In Greensboro, I'm Bill O'Neill reporting. Back to you.
Some local dispatchers have been flooded with calls because of a problem that still exists. Margaret Johnson's in our newsroom tonight with the 911 dilemma. Margot?
Well, good evening to you. The problem is if you call 911 on your cell phone in Winston-Salem, instead of the calls going directly to 911, some of them are being rerouted to a non-emergency number. Supervisors have tracked at least 30 to 50 of those calls since the weekend. They brought in 2 extra dispatchers on each shift to help answer the calls. They don't believe any of those calls went to voicemail, nor do they think anyone calling for emergency help didn't get it. They don't believe the problem is with police department equipment, but possibly the cell phone providers. They don't know how widespread it is either, but police say they will get to the bottom of it.
We want to fix this problem immediately so that we don't take a chance on someone calling 911 to report an emergency and somehow, some way that call gets delayed.
Again, this is a cell phone issue only in Winston-Salem. They say landline calls from homes and businesses are not affected. And if you continue to have problems, police say do contact them, but also call your cell provider. Back to you.
Well, it is another very hot day out there with temperatures in the 80s. A whole lot of blue sky, though it looks terrific out there, and it actually doesn't feel that bad. We've got a light south wind out there, so that's helping us some. Our temperatures this afternoon have topped out right now at 84 degrees in Greensboro and in Winston-Salem. Those mid-80s are above our normal high for the month of May. We have so far had 11 days at 80 or hotter this month, and our normal afternoon high for May is 76 degrees. The temperatures we're forecasting are in the mid to upper 80s, which are more like July numbers. So it does feel summery out there, although it's not quite as humid as what we typically get in the months of July and August. It's 84 right now in Winston-Salem, 85 in Yadkinville and Moxville, as well as Burlington. Our forecast for this evening, warm with a little bit of a breeze out there. Temps will be in the low 80s around 7 o'clock, and then we'll look for temperatures to dip down into the mid 70s later on tonight. Let's check in with Chris to see if traffic is moving smoothly this afternoon.
Lane traffic is moving pretty smoothly, except for US 52, and that's heading north in Winston-Salem, where pocket up is moving at 28 miles per hour. Take a look at our traffic camera. You're looking live in Greensboro. I-40 at Youngs Mill Road. Everything is moving fine here. No real problems to report. Stay updated on Twitter at WXII.
The state chapter of the NAACP continues its 25-county tour targeting the policies of the Republican-controlled State General Assembly. Today, that group held a series of public events in Greenville and Goldsboro. Organizations protesting recent policies on social programs, education, and voting rights.
This afternoon, a rally was held outside North Carolina Senator Richard Burr's Winston-Salem office. It was sponsored by Organizing for Action North Carolina. The group is pushing Congress to move forward with bipartisan legislation on immigration. We now know the cause of death for 2 FBI agents near Virginia Beach. The state medical examiner says the men died from blunt force trauma after falling in a training exercise. That accident happened earlier this month. Special agents Christopher Lorick and Stephen Shaw were members of the Bureau's elite hostage rescue team.
The investigation continues tonight into some letters with traces of ricin sent to New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg and to his gun control group in Washington. Today, we learned that similar letters were sent to President Obama for the second time in recent weeks. Sally Kidd has the latest on that tonight from Washington.
The Secret Service says it picked up a suspicious letter addressed to President Obama at an off-site White House mail screening facility yesterday. The letter has been turned over to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force for testing. Now, authorities say it's similar to 2 threatening letters sent to New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg and his group, Mayors Against Illegal Guns. Those tested positive for trace amounts of ricin. How these letters are related is still unclear. The anonymous letters sent to Bloomberg were postmarked in Louisiana and made references to the gun control debate, according to police. Now, last month, a Mississippi man was arrested after letters containing ricin were sent to President Obama and Republican Senator Roger Wicker. Reporting from Washington, I'm Sally Kidd.
Thank you, Sally. Those letters sent to Mayor Bloomberg and his group Mayors Against Illegal Guns are undergoing further testing to confirm the presence of ricin. Right now, a man wanted in Allegheny County, Virginia for murder is in police custody. Aiden Manuel Rodriguez was arrested in Pineville, North Carolina, south of Charlotte. Authorities believe he was in the area because he has family there. Rodriguez is accused of killing his wife, 24-year-old Ashley Rodriguez, earlier this month. Her body was found behind the office of a cemetery. Authorities say she'd been shot to death.
A Thomasville teen was arrested after police say he posted inappropriate pictures of a 15-year-old on Facebook. 17-year-old Shamari Burton faces 4 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. With a search warrant, police confiscated computers and other electronics from his home. He'll face a judge next week. Greensboro police are investigating a shooting tonight. Investigators say a man walked into Moses Cone Hospital just before 12:30 this morning with a gunshot wound to the leg. He told police he was shot off West Florida Street sometime between 10 and 11. So far, no arrests.
Well, dozens of angry parents are demanding answers from one South Carolina school district after a recent tuberculosis scare.
Tell me why we wasn't informed.
Parents at 96 Primary want to know why they were not notified earlier about the tuberculosis case. Greenwood County Schools say that some students at that school may have been exposed to a germ that causes TB sometime in the past few months. Parents wanted to know why they were just made aware of that case this week. Officials say that students that may have been exposed to germs that cause TB will get free skin testing starting tomorrow. A crash in Rowan County leaves one person dead and 2 others hurt, including a young child. It happened this morning on Parks Road at Highway 70 near Salisbury. Highway Patrol says an elementary school-age boy was airlifted to Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center, but at this time, no names have been released.
Today, the Vietnam Traveling Wall is being assembled in Eden. This is video from yesterday when the mobile tribute was escorted down Highway 14 from Reidsville to Eden's Freedom Park. Hundreds turned out to watch the motorcade that stretched more than a mile. The wall is available for viewing tomorrow. A closing ceremony will be held Sunday at 5.
Helping students find a career that they might never have thought about. Coming up, details on a special NASCAR program that made a pit stop here in the Triad.
Also, an annual program aimed at getting North Carolinians to buckle up celebrates a major milestone. Why the click it or ticket message is still important today.
And we may be seeing more bears in these parts these days, but what if you came across this guy? Find out where he was lurking. You're watching WXII 12 News at 5.